Hello, my name is Ariel Dotson, and when I was 18 years old, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Now, yes, I'm driving, but I just wanted to talk about something that really struck home with me today. Now, one of the major symptoms of being a borderline is the extreme fear of abandonment and the extreme measures that we go to avoid abandonment and sometimes even perceived abandonment. Now, borderline personality disorder is mainly caused by a mixture of genetics and trauma, mainly childhood trauma. Now, I had my fair share of traumas as a child. One was a sexual trauma, and then one was an abandonment trauma. Now, both have stuck with me into adulthood. I'm 20. When I was four or 5 years old, my father committed suicide, and that probably has to do a lot with my fear of abandonment. However, my father's family abandoned me when I was a child. They picked my other sibling over me. Watching that was extremely painful, and just being abandoned by the people who were supposed to love you. And I was fairly young, and I was fairly aware of what was going on. It had to do with my mother. It didn't have anything to do with me. However, I have reached out to these people now as an adult, and they still have issues, and that still hurts. I still see them picking other family members over me. You know, it's extremely painful to see family members talking to your sibling and interacting with your sibling, but not interacting with you. Could you imagine that? Now, me and my other sibling have different mothers, but I think when you get caught up in adult drama as a child and you face the consequences of adult drama, and something like that, the being abandoned as a child like that sticks with you. And I think that is what caused a lot of my spiraling downward as a child. Now, I have carried this trauma into adulthood, and it has affected pretty much every aspect of my life almost. Being someone with borderline personality disorder is like it's like being diagnosed with a terminal illness almost, because you are in constant emotional pain. There is almost no ability to soothe yourself. You can have every ability to say what is wrong with you and what's going on with you, but no ability to be able to come up with a solution or to process what a therapist is explaining to you as to what you can do to help yourself. And that is another issue that I have encountered. Now, something clicked with me today that was pretty cool, incredible, but sad, disturbing. My son behind me, he has a worker that works with him on his behavior. They come into my home and work with him. Now, after a month and a half of my son working with an amazing technician, this company decided to just switch his worker out of nowhere. And for some reason, it devastated me. Now, I do not do well with change. And also, it just felt like they were betraying me, abandoning me and my son. I felt like everything was going great and fine, and for them to do this, I just didn't understand. And I still now am having a hard time processing it and being okay with it. Now, I was talking to this person's supervisor this morning, and I was crying. I was like, I still a few weeks later, do not understand why you all did this. I have done my very best to advocate for my son and what I feel like what is right for him and right for us as a family. And the supervisor said to me, Ariel, have you ever felt like you were abandoned? Have you ever experienced being abandoned? I was like, this person is reading me just perfectly. And I was like, yes, I have borderline personality disorder. It's embarrassing because these services for my son, and a lot of this has to do with my own selfishness, which I'll admit. But yeah, it's just, it kind of, like a light bulb came up. It really clicked with me that my childhood fear of abandonment is still following me now. Over the most little things that, a normal adult should be able to get over. And a lot of the times, things like this have happened and I've been able to get over it fine. But I don't know, for some reason, this specifically hit me hard. And I think it does have to do with my fear of abandonment and a whole other list of problems. Something as tiny as them changing my son's worker should not cause such emotional distress to me, but it has. And it was pretty shocking when the person over the phone said, have you ever had an experience with abandonment? Like, she could understand what was going on with me. And it doesn't really have anything to do with me as much as I felt like they were abandoning my son and me and us as a family, and I felt like everything was going okay, and I don't know, it's just a big mixture of all of that, and my lack in ability to make decisions, my lack in ability to accept change, to process and understand change, and this has nothing to do with being abandoned, but somehow I am processing it like that, and that is what borderlines do. We feel like our world is ending all of the time when it isn't. And I have a lot of insight, I feel like. I've been told that by my therapist, that I have a lot of insight. A borderline's reality is not a real reality. However, I am very aware of that, and I am very aware of what I am doing in my behavior that is wrong and disturbing, but I still lack the ability to control it and to come up with a solution and to process it. And yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk today while I am driving. It's a really bad angle of me. But yeah, stay strong out there, borderlines. If I could do it every day and be in emotional distress every day and still being able to hang on and function as much as I can as a young adult, I know that you can too. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.